This one is called the pants. Take 8.
All right.
Okay.
Welcome to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed.
Yes.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
And every week on our radio show on Unity Online Radio, we share how stepping out boldly always leads to
Better than expected outcomes.
That's right. And that's usually when we go, funniest thing, you're not going to believe it.
Yes, yes.
So today's episode has to do with...
Yep. Kabam. How well is your social networking?
That's right. How well is your social networking?
The title of the show is Looking for Likes.
In all the wrong places.
Looking for likes in all the wrong places.
That's right. And what we're talking about is that little thing you came up with the other day.
Yeah, because this is sort of supplemental to our last show, which was the $1 million question. And that show was basically, what are we aiming for? Peace of mind or $1 million?
Yeah.
And part of that is really all about, are we looking for something outside ourselves first to give us peace of mind, or do we just start inside and just get the job done? And
right. Getting mentality or a giving mentality?
Right. Getting or giving. And this started because Darrell we talked about on the show about your LinkedIn excursion.
Yes.
That very morning I had an excursion onto Facebook. And we started talking about how oftentimes we'll post something, and we post it out of the joy of just wanting to post something
that we want to give.
That we want to give.
And
whether
share.
It's Darrell's book, something that happened with the book, or an article I just wrote. So it's this joyous thing. I got to share this. But what often happens in our mind is we start evaluating ourselves based on how many likes we get on our posts.
Wow, he got 10 likes for his post. I only got 2.
Yeah, so we started thinking about it, and I was kind of what popped out of my head was that we're basically playing a little video game, but putting our value based on a little score we got on the video game.
Right. I'm basing my self-worth entirely upon how many likes I receive compared to other people's likes.
Yes.
And then that puts me into this, like a competitive type of thinking without even realizing it. Now I'm in a competitive type of thinking, and that puts me into a getting mode. I'm operating now from a getting mentality instead of a giving mentality, and it's hard to shake.
And the funny thing is that when we get into this getting mentality that we're talking about, we actually become less receptive to what we want. And so we want to get into a receptive mode, and the way we do that is by giving.
Why don't we do those 3 breaths? That's the perfect time to do them.
So today's deep breaths, simply, I receive the most
when I like your post.
Oh, yeah. So let's take a deep breath to clear our minds.
You ready?
I receive the most when I like your posts.
I receive the most when I like your posts.
I receive the most when I like your post.
That's our humming Chewbacca. My 17-year-old dog, Sunny, making those noises in the background. She approves of this message.
She's telling us we're doing a great job, and she says keep going with the show. So,
some quick tips.
Quick tips.
Before you do your reading.
Okay.
A couple of things may happen when you think about liking other people's posts, which happened to me too. I'll fall on my sword for our listeners.
You're good at that.
And sometimes I'll look at people's posts and I'll feel like a little tinge of envy. Or a little, well, that's stupid judgment.
Yes.
And I'm not going to even like that or comment.
Right.
And then every time I feel that now, I found a cure for it. I just tell myself, just let go and say thank you.
Yeah.
And I realize that those feelings, I'm in like this getting mentality. I feel like somebody's getting more approval than me.
Yeah.
Or who knows where it is, but it's definitely coming from a getting place. And that energy is bottled up. And the minute I say, just let go and say thank you, all of a sudden I don't feel the envy or like the competition. I go, I'm going to like that. Boom. And I like it. And as soon as I like it, it's like,
yeah,
my spirit is elevated.
You know, that makes me think of that saying, give up the ghost, because I started thinking, if I'm just being like stingy and holding it all in, it's probably because I'm holding on to some ghost of the past. You know, some fear that I need to protect myself or fight my way to get what I want. It's like, yeah, just give up the ghost, man. Come and live in the now and start getting back into the creative flow again.
And I like other people's posts because it makes me feel good. That's why I do it. So when I do anything else, and I just want to let people know you're allowed to defriend people.
That's true. You'll end up liking them more.
You will.
If there's sometimes I'll see this post that just rub me the wrong way again and again that don't sit well. It's easier, and it's not a sin to just go to their page, defriend, and then you come back to a loving place.
Well, it's for me. At first, I go, I better not defriend them because then they're gonna not like. And I said, you know what? Defriending people whose posts tend to like on a routinely basis, I get tired of seeing.
Yeah.
Just like you said, rub me the wrong way. I defriend them, and it's like putting them in a God box.
Yes,
and it makes it easier for me to bless them because they're not in my, they're not like, in my windshield all the time.
That's right.
And what happens is I've seen people whose posts used to give me a little disturbance.
Right.
Just the things they would say repetitively I didn't need to be reading or I didn't maybe agree with. But then I see them in person because I defriended them, which put them in this God box somewhere. And when I saw him, I was like, hey, how's it going? I totally
you're
all
better
that
off.
funk was gone.
Totally.
Whereas if I had kept them there, if I saw them, I might pull the old, oh shoot, what are they doing here? I don't want to see them.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't hang out there's a lot of people that I love, but I don't need to hang out in their bedroom and see what they post on their walls and all that stuff all the time. Certain people, that's okay. Certain people, it's better that we just meet on the street. I love them, say something friendly, and that's enough.
Right.
And so you want to, let's do a little reading here.
I think this is about it. We'll wind up with the reading.
Yeah, because this one comes from Spiritual Economics, which is by Eric Butterworth from Unity minister.
And all our books are at goodreads.com. Search word Darrell and Ed.
Yes.
All the books we read and refer to.
Yeah, and if you have any comments to make about what we're talking about here or stories to share, you can send it to funniestthing@unityonlineradio.org.
Or leave a comment on our Facebook fan page.
Yes.
Especially if you have experiences with maybe how you felt uncomfortable with Facebook or felt like you were in a competition with other people's likes, and how this may have helped you by just blessing them and going, just let go and say thank you. Yes. Or maybe defriending someone and how that turned out to be a blessing.
Because we were talking about how these little things that we deal with these things so regularly that if we handle these things in a more loving way, then in a way that is more uplifting, then all the bigger things actually get positively affected by that.
Yeah, because we don't want to get stuck in the box.
You know what's funny is Sandy Page, one of our listeners, plays a game, Bejeweled Blitz, that you've seen me playing that plenty of times. It's kind of like my dummy down tool. My wife knows all about that as well. I'm sitting there playing that game, and it's funny because it ranks us on the week based on how much we've scored, our highest score. So oftentimes it's like Sandy Page, and so my mind starts to go, I gotta catch Sandy Page's highest score.
Yeah, it puts us, and that's what we don't want to happen with our likes on Facebook. Just if you're gonna post something, the best thing sometimes is to just throw it out there because you want to share it and forget about it.
Totally.
Because if I start looking, how many likes did anyone like that? Then I'm turning a gift into like this getting mode.
Yeah.
Like I only threw it out there to see how much I can get back, and it never pans out well for me when I do that.
That's called looking a gift horse in the behind.
Yeah, and getting kicked in the forehead with a giant horseshoe attached to a hoof.
So, this again comes from Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. Did we talk about the Goodreads.com page?
Yes.
We did that,
I just told him that.
Okay, so this is from page 169. And it goes like this. God is the divine givingness of the universe. You cannot make any sense out of life or realize the free flow of substance in your experience until you begin to see yourself as a giver. It may mean a complete turnaround in your approach to life, where you think give instead of get. In your spiritual quest, you are seeking to establish yourself in a unitive relationship with the divine flow. You can never really achieve this level of consciousness until giving becomes the main thrust of your life. Now it says, we are not talking specifically about church giving, giving to charity, and so forth. We are talking about attitudes toward life. The basic awareness that life is a matter of developing or unfolding from within. It is knowing that life is not something to get, but something to express.
Yes. I receive the most when I like your posts.
That's right. And when it talks about like a major turnaround, this is one of the things that Darrell and I talk about. Major turnaround for Darrell and I is in this moment, I go from, oh, I wonder how many people like me, to, it's a moment-to-moment complete turnaround. Because a lot of spiritual things I used to wait for that big moment when my life was going to turn around. Forget it. We're talking about moment-to-moment, turning around our attitude, which is a lot easier than a lot of people make it out to be. Turn it around. You're free. I'm free. I go out, and that's when the funniest things happen.
That's right. And start by liking other people's posts.
Yeah.
And remember what the problem was.
In the past,
It was,
we were looking for likes in all the wrong places. Looking for likes on too many pages. Yeah. Roll the credits, will you, Darrell?
Okay.
Oh. Got to tell them what to do.
Oh, that's right. You got to sing. Subscribe to the Funniest Thing podcast on iTunes. It's easy. Just go to the iTunes store or to the iTunes app on your phone. We love to hear from you. Send us all of your stories, comments, and suggestions to funniestting@unityonlineradio.org. Follow us on Twitter at Darrell and Ed, and find the Funniest Thing fan page on Facebook. You can comment on that. And thank you for being a part of Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed on Unity Online Radio. And let that play. I got to bring in somebody.
Oh, yeah. Bring him in.
Come on.
Message. Your message from...
Here's the Shabbat.
Here she is.
Eddie, are you okay? Are you okay, Eddie?
Sonny. Oh, you. Oh, you.
Are you okay, Eddie?